Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies, starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
She did a great job, the way she danced and the way she kind of acted clumsy.
Think you know everything about True Lies, the adrenaline-fueled blockbuster packed with explosive stunts and sharp humor? Think again. Beneath the surface of this action classic lies a web of secrets, scandals, and behind-the-scenes drama that rivals the film itself. From serious on-set injuries to heated debates over character portrayals, the off-camera story is far wilder than you might expect. And yes, there's that unforgettable scene with Jamie Lee Curtis that left audiences stunned. So buckle up, because we're diving into the untold truths of True Lies, from iconic dance moments to death-defying stunts, and even a jet with a jaw-dropping price tag. One of the most memorable scenes in the film features Jamie Lee Curtis performing a seductive dance for her on-screen husband, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. The chemistry is undeniable, but what most people don't know is that something unexpected happened during filming. Right in the middle of the performance, Curtis slipped and fell off the bedpost, a mistake that could have ruined the scene. But instead of cutting, director James Cameron kept the cameras rolling. He loved the spontaneity so much that he left it in the final film, and that real, unscripted moment made the scene even more authentic. But that wasn't the only time Curtis pushed her limits. In one of the film's most dangerous sequences, her character hangs from a helicopter high above the ocean, a stunt that was clearly meant for a professional double. But Curtis refused. She wanted to do it herself. When James Cameron suggested using a stunt double, she asked him a simple question: "Where will you be?" He answered that he would be hanging from the helicopter himself to film her close-up. That was enough. Curtis decided that if he was willing to take the risk, she would too. She even chose to perform the stunt on her 36th birthday, turning it into a personal challenge. For weeks, she trained intensely, preparing both physically and mentally. And when the moment finally came, she didn't hesitate. As the helicopter flew at speeds of up to 70 miles per hour, lifting her into the air, Curtis remained calm, focused, and completely in control. Her performance turned the scene into one of the most unforgettable action moments in the film. But True Lies isn't just about action, it's also packed with comedy. Much of that comes from Tom Arnold, who plays Albert Gibson, the sarcastic sidekick to Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. Interestingly, one of the funniest lines in the film wasn't even written in the script. In a scene where Gibson talks about his failed marriage, he says she even took the ice cube trays from the freezer. A small detail, but a hilarious one, and it came straight from real life. At the time, Tom Arnold was going through a very public divorce with Roseanne Barr. He joked about losing everything, including the ice trays. James Cameron heard it and instantly added it to the movie. When it came to realism, Cameron didn't believe in shortcuts. Instead of relying only on visual effects, he rented real military aircraft, 3 Marine Harrier fighter jets from the U.S. government. This decision came at a massive cost. Each hour of flight cost thousands of dollars, with the total reaching nearly $100,000. But the result? Breathtaking aerial scenes that still hold up today. Even the characters had hidden inspirations. Spencer Trilby, played by Charlton Heston, feels strikingly familiar. That's because he was inspired by Nick Fury, a secretive leader running a covert agency to deal with global threats. A subtle detail, but one that adds depth to the film. Now, here's something you might not expect. For a man known for explosions and action, Arnold Schwarzenegger had to face a completely different challenge in this film: learning the tango. In one scene, his character dances with Helen, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. It looks smooth and effortless, but behind the scenes, it took serious work. Schwarzenegger trained for 6 months to perfect the dance. He studied with professional instructors and even took inspiration from Al Pacino's performance in Scent of a Woman. The result showed a completely different side of the action star: graceful, confident, and surprisingly elegant. Not everything made it into the final film. One deleted scene involved a tense moment where a grenade was placed between Helen's legs during a kidnapping. Later, that same grenade would have been used in a clever callback during the final battle, but the entire sequence was cut for pacing reasons. Without it, one key moment in the film feels slightly random, but originally it had a much deeper connection. James Cameron's influence didn't stop at action. He also took control of the film's humor. Unsatisfied with the original script, he personally rewrote most of the comedic elements. In fact, only 2 jokes from the original version remained. One of them, Schwarzenegger's iconic line, "You're fired." The rest of the humor was either rewritten or improvised on set, and that creative decision helped make the film more engaging and memorable. Casting Tom Arnold wasn't easy either. At the time, his public divorce made studios hesitant to hire him. But Cameron believed in his talent. He pushed hard, so hard, in fact, that he threatened to leave the project if Arnold wasn't cast. Eventually, the studio gave in, and it turned out to be the right decision. Arnold's humor and chemistry added a unique charm to the film. However, not everything behind the scenes was positive. Years later, Eliza Dushku came forward with serious allegations about her experience during filming. She claimed she faced inappropriate behavior from a crew member at a very young age. She also reported being injured during a stunt due to safety failures. These revelations cast a shadow over the film's legacy and sparked discussions about safety and protection in Hollywood. Despite all of this, True Lies remains a landmark film, a mix of action, humor, and unforgettable moments, both on and off the screen. The famous dance scene we mentioned earlier, there's more to it. While many believed Curtis's fall was accidental, she later revealed it was actually planned. However, she insisted on limiting the number of takes to avoid injury while wearing heels. When she fell, she stayed in character and continued the performance. Schwarzenegger's brief, genuine reaction made the moment even better, and Cameron decided to keep it exactly as it happened. There were also plans for a sequel. Both Cameron and Schwarzenegger were interested in continuing the story, but real-world events changed everything. After global tensions around terrorism increased, the idea of making a similar action film no longer felt appropriate. The project was eventually canceled. During filming, Schwarzenegger himself had a near-death experience. In a scene involving a jet on a runway, a miscommunication led to the engines powering up while he was still attached to the aircraft. As the plane accelerated, he was suddenly in serious danger. At the last second, he attached himself and escaped. Later, he described it as one of the scariest moments of his career. There was even a video game based on the movie. Released in 1994, it allowed players to step into the role of Harry Tasker. But despite the hype, it failed to gain popularity and was largely forgotten over time. The film also faced criticism for its portrayal of Middle Eastern characters. Many felt it relied on stereotypes that didn't accurately represent cultures. The role of the main villain, played by Art Malik, became a major point of debate. Critics argued that such portrayals contributed to harmful perceptions. Even the action scenes went through changes. One bathroom fight was originally planned to be much longer and more intense, but the filmmakers decided to scale it down to keep it from becoming overwhelming. So, now the question is, did you notice any of these details when you first watched the film? Or did they completely change the way you see it now? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.